All right, we are live. Hello, May.
Hello everyone.
Hello, everybody. Glad to have you all here. So we are launching a new painting series. May, what are you up to?
Yeah, so I don't know what it's called yet, but it's obviously a fantasy piece featuring my friend Clarissa from college. And as you can see, there are lots of cool dragon shapes in the background. So those are actually like actual photographs that I took instead of stolen from Shutterstock. The restaurant I work at has like a bunch of really cool like decor, and so I asked my manager one day if I could like just borrow her dragon statue to take pictures of for a painting, and she was like, okay. So yeah, those are my pictures as well. I've used them in the backgrounds of like 2 other pieces already. So, but yeah, so should be very fun, very interesting. Yeah.
Sweet.
I don't know. I guess I can talk about my palette a bit. So the plan today is to lay in the flats for everything and kind of directly paint the sky as best as I can. So like this string of values here is all meant for the sky, and then this other stuff is like flats for everything else. So this is like fire and like steam and whatnot. These are for the dragons in the back, and then these are the shadows for the dragons as well. And yeah, that was all. The painting's 24 by 24 inches, so like 2 by 2 feet. Yeah, that is all for now.
Awesome. Yep, so we have a slightly different video set up here. As you can see, I've got the palette showing, and just gonna have to do a little bit differently. Had just a small technical issue this morning, this afternoon, this evening, perhaps. Yes, it's evening now.
Yes.
But yeah, glad to have you all here, and let us know how you are feeling. This is always my favorite little session. I got the color chart finally up here, so you can take a look at it and tell us what color you're feeling tonight. These are all Old Holland colors, which is the oil paint that we use in our Evolve program, which, if you don't know, is where we get artists to pro-level skills in about 1 year. So super awesome. Definitely recommend you check that out if you are interested in seriously developing your skills. But we'd love to have you here for this live stream, just for a good time, and hopefully we can just interact with you, get to know you, answer any questions that you have as we work on this awesome new painting. Okay, I got some questions here. Everyone's saying hi. David said, can't wait to see this. That's good. Glad you're excited. Rob said, thinking of joining Evolve Artists. That's awesome. Let me know. Let me know if you have any questions that we can answer for you about that. Obviously, highly recommend it. All right, question from Becky. Where did this idea come from?
It came from the need to come up with a fantasy painting idea. I actually wasn't planning on using my friend Clarissa as a model for anything other than like a portrait. I actually met her in like a club at college, and I didn't like know her or anything walking in. I just like saw her, and I was like, I need to paint this girl. And so I like talked to her after the meeting and see if she was like interested in whatever, and she was like, yeah, of course. So that was cool. And so I took her out to shoot for a portrait, and that went really well. And then there was kind of like a need to have a fantasy painting lined up for these live streams, and so I was like, okay, well, I know someone who I'd love to paint again. So I just asked her if she would be free and available and willing, and she said yeah. So, and I didn't want to like come up with something like too complicated and like invest too much time into like the Photoshop and development and stuff. And so I was thinking of like kind of maybe fantasy references that I already had. And so that's where I remembered. I was like, oh, I had these cool dragon pictures, and yeah, so I just used those and then kind of like built this atmosphere around them. So yeah. Nothing, no like bolt of lightning inspiration or anything. But I was like,
so this is a live model with composites? Or composites?
well, it's like from a photo shoot, and then like the pictures are from the photo shoot, yeah.
Yeah.
If that's what that means.
Question from? Just got a question from Rob about the online program. So, is it focused on rendering, painting over a transfer? So, well, we'd have to define those terms. So, we are focused on developing pro-level skills, and we do some painting over transfer, a good portion of it, but we also teach painting from life as well, because that is necessary for pro-level skills. It develops an ability to see critically, to get your proportions right, even because transfers are not, like they're not a complete perfect solution. You still have to have an understanding of shapes and proportions and being able to see one thing in relation to each other and making sure that it fits in the space, because eventually the transfer lines go away. But they are very helpful for producing a painting. So we do in block 1, we start with painting from photos. In block, which is all in grayscale, and it's teaching really important things like values, edges, really turning form, things like that, creating volume. And then in block 2 is where we introduce drawing, proportional drawing, and which then from those we make paintings from life without any photographs or anything like that, just set up in your own home using very simple shapes, and it can get more complex as it goes. And then in the block 3 we introduce color, and we just kind of complete that painting process using all those things. It's the same process, and we just add one thing into that process at a time so that you're developing your skills. And then finally in block 4, we then change the process slightly, retaining everything we taught you, all of those skills and then understanding, and now incorporating into a new technique that results in highly realistic paintings. And so that's kind of our approach there. And then we actually have an advanced program that goes after that one if people are interested. Only available to people who've gone through the foundation program, which is blocks 1 to 4. And that gets into painting in different techniques, such as the technique that we are seeing from May right now. So right now, May is going to be painting this in multiple layers. She's working fairly thin right now, just getting in, like we call it blocking in your flats. She's just getting in a rough impression of the colors and the values, and they're all going to be kind of in the middle ground, in the middle tones. And then she's going to go, as she works on new passes, it's going to get more contrasted in certain areas, more refined, almost like, ooh, nice catch.
Thanks.
Almost like, the painting starts off kind of like a foggy window, and then you're wiping away the fog in a sense. Hopefully that helped answer your question. Oh, and so I'll just clarify, in block 3, we alternate between painting from photos and painting from life. And then block 4 does just painting from photos to really focus on the higher quality, because painting from photos will really help you push your quality and your detail, whereas painting from life forces you to see things in the three-dimensional realm and then do the converting yourself, where you can't just copy a photograph and get that result. So it's important to do both, and they do different things for us. Then in the advanced program, we continue to alternate between painting from photos and painting from life. Edie is wondering, what medium did you use for the underdrawing? And May is using a combination of alkyd and linseed oil. Is that correct? Or are you just using alkyd?
Actually, I think it's just linseed oil. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just linseed oil? Yeah. So this, we're going to be spacing this painting out, so it doesn't need to be dried tomorrow for May. If she wanted to be dry tomorrow, then she would need to use a little bit of alkyd in it as well to go with this process. But it's all right because we're going to be, it'll be weeks in between this painting session. We'll be doing some different things for our live streams, keeping it fresh, keeping it interesting for you guys. Deborah is asking, any way to get a good view of the palette table? It looks different than what Kevin uses. Looks like hinges on it. So it is definitely designed for painting. It's got those two hinges that you see on either side. They fold over and they would close over the palette if you so desired. And that's actually a couple, like if you look to the bottom right corner, you'll see a bit of just a little sliver of a cup there. There's a hole in that wood, and so you can then put things inside it and things like that. You can put like a cup inside so that you can hold your brushes and it won't fall off if you accidentally bump it. So it's a nice table design, and then there's like a cabinet space, a shelf, and then a cabinet underneath it. So I haven't gotten any responses for the colors yet, so I'll share this screen again for a little while. I don't know if the text is too small to read. You can all let me know, and I can simply share a link. Maybe that's better. This is my first time dropping in an image there instead of giving people a link. But yeah, let's hear how you guys are feeling using colors. May, what are you feeling?
Feeling the color I'm using.
As always.
Yeah. I have my head in the game, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, it's a little too small. So let's just take this, drop this in, see how that works. So if you click on that link, hopefully it'll open up a new tab for you and you can take a look at some of those color options and share how you're feeling. Okay, Cobalt Blue Turquoise from Sarah Price. Serene and happy. Very nice. Oh yeah, that is a nice one. It's a bit calmer than the blues above it. You can see there's just that small hint of green relative to the blues around it. Becky said Royal Purple Lake. Not finding it on the color chart there. There's a lot of colors to sift through. Oh, there it is. Wow. Wow, Becky, you are really feeling something. That is, that is a bright, powerful color. It's very nice. Becky said it's intense. Got my mind in a million places. Deep breaths, yeah.
Good luck with that.
Well, feel free to, sit by your easel and paint something, even if it's just for fun. Might help you slow down a little bit. Judy said Parisian or Prussian blue extra. Oh, Parisian, Prussian. Very cool. Wow, that one gets so dark. I think I'm feeling burnt umber today. Just a bit earthy. I feel like it's been an earthy day. Had lunch with a friend and had chicken pot pie.
It's pretty good.
It was nice. Nice and steamy, you know. Just felt like it fit the mood of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Edie went with beige. It's a good option. Carrie said King's Blue Light. That is nice. It's cool how the names of these colors elicit like images.
Mm-hmm.
Matches the blue sky this morning. Does anyone have any questions for May? I know a lot of you have been through quite a few May live streams, but if you have any questions for May, let us know. We can get her a little distracted, get her talking. I see you're being really thoughtful about your colors
Yeah.
right from the get-go.
I'm trying to like get as much, just like put in as many things that won't need to be touched again during this first pass. So we can kind of just streamline this whole thing a little bit better.
Question from Trevor. Has May seen the movie Fallen Angels?
No. Sounds like something I should watch though, yeah. Yeah, already intrigued. That was easy.
Judy is doing well, waiting for feedback so she can start her next painting. That's awesome. Carrie is asking, is this reference photo one that you put together yourself, or is it from a photo site?
I put it together myself, yes.
Yeah. May was explaining earlier that she did the photo shoot of the model as well as the photo shoot of that dragon tail swirly durly.
Yes. And the background's like from the internet, but yeah.
Yeah, and here's a close-up of the reference she's working with.
It was a fun photo shoot. My friend, the model, was like, I feel so silly right now because you're just telling me to like lean backwards and look angry. And I was like, yeah, that's what I need. And then I showed her the pictures afterwards, like the mock-up, and then also the pictures. And she was like, wow. Like that whole time, I just thought I looked stupid, but I actually look super cool. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, thank you so much. And I was like, it's all you though, you know? So it was cool. It was fun. It's a nice way to make friends, you know, invite people out for photo shoots.
Very flattering, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's always a bit like nerve-wracking to paint without like any pass underneath because there's like no context for the colors at all. So everything just looks like way too dark or like way too colorful or way too whatever. Like just nothing looks right ever until like a lot more is put in. So I'm kind of like probably remixing my colors because like they don't look right.
Yeah, it's like your eyes haven't calibrated for the white balance yet because the white of the panel is throwing off the relationships that you're trying to put down.
Yeah, because like I know like as I mix these colors, I was matching them to the photograph. So it's like I know they're right, but they don't like look right. It's like very simple, but it still gets to me sometimes.
Yeah, on that note, Carrie had just asked, is there a reason why you didn't tone the board this time?
I didn't have time, that's all. Sometimes the reasons for the process are like not that enlightening. Sometimes it's just like life, you know? But yeah, I just didn't have time this time. It's okay though, it's like I can work with it.
Here's a good question from Rob,
Yep.
who said, you mentioned the program has foundational and advanced blocks. What would be the next steps for artists like May to take her art skills to the next level?
Is that for me or?
If you want to answer. So what's on the horizon for you now?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm like part of like a formal program anymore, like Evolve or anything. I'm mostly just working on like paintings for my portfolio to gain experience and also like build a portfolio. And yeah, there's some exciting things on the horizon, potential like awards, potential events, gallery things. But I think after you like kind of have a degree of mastery of the skills and build like a decent body of work that you can like present to other professionals or like gallery owners and just kind of professionals just within that industry, then it's really up to you to kind of like go out there and find those opportunities if that's what you're looking for. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, so from an educational perspective, the Evolve program is designed to be incredibly comprehensive. And so we give you a lot of the knowledge, and we give you the knowledge that's really important to level up your skills. But of course, there's never an end to knowledge in general, especially when it comes to things like color and or maybe trying a different way of applying it. And we believe that the most effective way to acquire that other more supplemental knowledge is through experience. And so, at one point, the process that we're introducing, such as like in block one, it's very formulaic, right? It's like, follow this process, get this result, and you're going to see that it works, and you're going to start like reinforcing good habits in order to consistently make nice paintings. But then as you go beyond that, it really becomes more and more experience. And the knowledge that you've already learned is continuing to become reinforced by that experience. Because experience, it has to be earned. And you have to put in the time. Like we get people to pro level skills in about 350 hours. But 350 hours against, so like you can get the results, but then to have, even if you don't even acquire any more knowledge, but you simply increase the amount of hours that you spent working on the same knowledge, then your skills will be exponentially better just from that experience. And so that's a big part of it. So as she's working on her portfolio right now, she's developing that experience, tackling new subject matter, learning different ways of handling things, and really applying the same knowledge in different and newer, different ways. Different styles, different techniques. It's really cool because you can, like for someone at May's level, she can look at someone like another professional artist's work, and just by observing the way that they're painting or the words that they're using, she can understand more deeply what they're saying. Whereas someone who is a beginner who hasn't gotten to this level might not quite get that same level of understanding from listening to that other person, because
Right.
May now has a language with which to understand what she's seeing. So even if the other, another experienced artist is just doing something and she sees it, she's, oh wow, that's really cool. I can now, assimilate that and incorporate that into what I'm already doing. And she also knows what not to throw out in that process. If that makes sense. Because like you could, you don't want to be like a reed in the wind where
Right.
you hear one person's piece of information and then you drop everything and go do that. And then you hear from someone else and you drop everything and go do that. And you're not really going to progress.
Yeah.
But the idea with Evolve is like, we're going to teach you an entire language that is complete. And then you can then use that language to interpret other ways that people are expressing themselves visually. And that could just look like, again, different styles, techniques, different kinds of impressionism, perhaps, just as an example. But there's a lot of stuff out there, like on YouTube, that's really incredible work and really valuable information. But unfortunately, for a lot of people who haven't gotten the foundational skills yet, it's only so helpful. It's more entertaining than anything. But once you have that foundation, which you can stand on your own feet and incorporate that understanding, then you have access to all of that information that's out there, and that's where I would say May is at. She's kind of free to just pursue so many things. It's like what Picasso said: learn the rules like a pro, so you can break them like an artist.
Thank you.
Good to have you back, Eric. We already did the colors, but I'd love to hear what color green you're feeling today. If you are feeling green. I'm hoping that you are, because if you're feeling green, it must be a good thing, right?
We like consistency.
Sarah Price said, I love this spectrum of colors and how it's stretching across the canvas.
The palette, I guess.
Yeah, let's see. Last time Eric gave us, he did a forest green a few weeks ago, and then an olive green. What else was there? He's given us 3 variations of green so far. I forget the third one. Maybe he'll give us a new one this time. That's funny. Yeah, Eric just said, always green. Yeah, probably whatever green money USD is.
Very good.
Like a sage, maybe?
It's a nice way of putting it. Just money green is where my mind is.
Mint green. That works.
It's like my favorite color in middle school.
Really?
Yeah.
Like mint chocolate chip kind of mint?
A little less saturated, I would say. But yeah, just like pastel green.
Uh-huh. Eric Hunt, the expert on green, just gave us the correct answer. It's somewhere between sage and jade. Oh, the green of a grasshopper cocktail? Question
What?
from Edie. Not sure what a grasshopper cocktail is, but
Okay.
not sure I want to know if you drink that. I don't know. I think Edie's from Australia, right? Or New Zealand? Could be a common thing over there for all we know. Can't say I've had grasshopper cocktail.
I can't say I ever will.
Okay, Sarah's clarifying it's not an actual grasshopper. We're just clinking glasses with Edie now. Uh-huh. Edie said equal parts green creme de menthe. I may have pronounced that totally wrong. White creme du cocoa, and heavy cream. $7.33, May.
All right.
Creme de cocoa. So I guess it's like a chocolate cream of sorts.
I would not know.
Deborah said, can you explain the decisions you are making as you paint? You want to give us a little Bob Ross impression?
I'll just do a May Zheng impression. Basically, I am trying to, as I stated before, I'm trying to direct paint the sky and then fill in the flats for everything. So right now I'm like prioritizing the sky. And so what I did was try to just go up the value chain. You can see I made a lot of like edits as I went to my palette because it like looked weird sometimes. That's mostly just from like, I think, again, as I was saying, having like white in the background instead of like having a tone or anything. So I felt like a lot of things needed to be more colorful than how I'd originally mixed them. And so, yeah, I'm just kind of going up the values and working in where I need to, kind of just revising as I go, yeah. So it's not like I'm filling everything in with this and everything in with this and everything in with this. It's like kind of just general areas where I feel like every color belongs. And then, you know, if I'm wrong, we'll go back and just correct it on the spot. I'm not like waiting in a very systematic way. So, yeah. I can try to talk more as I'm painting if that would be like enjoyable or helpful. Yeah, I feel like everything just kind of falls under that process of just going up the values. And then that way, like, I can also create like gradients wherever I feel like I need to, because I'm putting values like next to each other in places where, you know, they're like adjacent. So it's helping me like build out form as well.
Since you're working on that area, I'll try zooming in a little bit.
Okay.
So after you finish that sky section, you're going to be done, right? Just going to sign it, abstract painting. It kind of looks like one right now with the...
It does, with like
way
the
they zoomed
cutouts,
in.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going back into the sky with this lighter value. There are like some very abstract looking edges of clouds in there in the reference that I'm gonna try to put in. Not like too precisely because, you know, they're like abstract and very organic. So there's like no need. But I do want to have this overall like textured like movement throughout the sky if I can. I'll go back in with a color one value darker so I can kind of blend it in along some of the edges so they're not just lines, they can be like diffused, like planes almost.
Yeah, you don't want your edges to be really sharp for an area that's so far away from the rest of the subject.
Yeah. No distractions.
Eric said, painting is cool because you can draw the same subject 3 or more times easily. The lines are just guidelines as opposed to some of the line art I'm more familiar with. Yeah.
Line art is so hard. I've only ever tried it like digitally and it like so humbling. So right now I'm filling in the lights in the clouds with my second lightest value in that string. And I'll just go on top of it directly and kind of just layer paint for the highlights in there with the final value I have over here. But I like prefer to fill the lights before instead of like kind of breaking it up as I go into highlights and then the rest of the light. So that way the paint can like blend a little bit and not be, and so it doesn't feel like you're putting together like a jigsaw puzzle of like colors. It's more like you're building up some areas. It kind of changes how you think about it in the application, which I find helpful. And also this way you make sure you have like an intermediate value between the shadows and the highlights, because in this case, you know, like clouds are round, so you don't want any extreme edges going on in there.
Yep, even those clouds have form shadow and cast shadow.
So I just went down one value so I can smooth out those edges a little bit between the lights I just put down and the shadows that were down before.
Question from Edie.
Yeah.
Do you get repetitive strain injury after painting for a while?
Not yet. There have been times when I'm doing like a transfer and I'm definitely like pressing too hard with my pencil and it's like a very elaborate transfer, so it takes a while. And then my hand will get pretty sore, yeah. Like my wrist and that's everything. But it only lasts for like a few hours. It's never like overnight. And it's like kind of my fault. So something I can control and watch out for. Sometimes I just don't. But other times it's like, you know, I don't have to do it all in one sitting, but I want to. And that's also like on me. So there's definitely ways of like avoiding that, I think. Just like know it exists and kind of try to plan for it. Or don't plan for it.
Mm.
Yeah, over the summer, like a lot of times when that happened, because I was trying to get like a lot done over the course of the summer, and I would just hammer out like huge transfers, like within one sitting, like 5 hours on end or something. Don't do that. Yeah, I'm asking for it at that point. So basically, yes, I do, but it's my fault. So I wouldn't be like, oh, it's like part of being an artist. It's like, no, it's part of being impatient. So, yeah.
Just got an awesome comment from Kevin Ilsley. Hi, I have recently found your live streams, and I would like to say thank you to May and Kevin. They have helped in ways you couldn't imagine.
Oh,
Wow, Kevin, thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm glad you feel that way. I'm happy to help. So I'm going to basically fill out the rest of the sky before even touching this lightest value here. So I'm going back down to the clouds, like underneath this segment of the dragon, I guess, and blocking in those lights with my second lightest value.
Scrub, scrub, scrub.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm surprised you're using was that a 6 brush?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's small.
No harm in that.
Not yet.
Helps you be a little more particular with your clouds.
Yeah.
Hello, Dark Star.
Hello.
For those of you who don't know, Dark Star has been making YouTube videos and oftentimes sharing her experience in the Evolve program. So if you're curious to kind of see a student's perspective on the program and what she's going through, you can check out her channel.
Just went back up to the other clouds because I happen to have this nice aqua on my brush, and I wanted to put it up there too. So.
Could I link Dark Star's channel by any chance? Maybe. Let me see if I can do that. You might also be able to just click on Dark Star's username there in the chat. But I will see if I can. Also, if you go to our channel, we have her down at the bottom, as well as some other artists who are sharing their journey. But I will try to send this link over to you. Hopefully that helps. Whoa, big brush.
Big brush. Filling
Making some
time.
moves.
Covering real estate.
Now, is there a reason why you suddenly decided to switch right there?
I thought like this cloud area had kind of exhausted itself with like small brush stuff. So I just want to like fill in this stuff, and then when I go back, it'll be time for the like most extreme highlight.
Hmm. How big is this piece, May?
It's 24 by 24 inches, so 2 by 2 feet. It's a nice little square. Not
The
the most
square is definitely
conventional.
nice with the spiral effect.
Yeah.
Really kind of draws you in. I'm gonna start zooming out a little bit now that you're starting to make some moves. And it is 7:50.
Okay.
Moving at a good pace.
Yeah, not bad, I think.
Not too shabby. Darkstar is wondering if you will do smooth, realistic approach, or will you go with a expressive brushwork?
Definitely smooth to start. I might add texture in like the last pass or something with like the scales or fire or her skin or something. But stick around to find out. I don't know.
Also, I just remembered, so there's a portrait behind May, to May's left, and for those of you who may have seen Kevin's live stream, we had posted all 21 days of him making this portrait, and he's had to actually redo the portrait because of a very unfortunate shipping issue,
Much to
perhaps
his
stolen
chagrin.
painting. And so it's gone, and so he had to repaint it, and just there behind May is it's almost done,
Yeah.
but it's just as nice as the previous one, and it'll be delivered pretty soon.
Yeah, this week I think.
Sarah Price said, seems to be something about smoky landscapes that speaks to May.
I like the ambiguity, the potential destruction.
Let's unpack that.
No.
No,
No.
I refuse.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, it goes back to the narrative stuff and also the angsty stuff. I think that's kind of it, really. But yeah, it's nice that you picked that up.
Darkstar said, can I go visit it before it's shipped out? Well, I imagine...
It'll be gone by Thursday, so better move quick.
Yeah, get in touch with Kevin because a good day to visit is usually Sundays, but today is Sunday and it's also evening, so. I do not think they found out who took the painting. I believe the assumption is that it was stolen, and when you would imagine that the thieves, when they opened up the painting and saw what it was, it's kind of like,
Are you for real?
you can't really sell this on the black market, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they probably threw it out. Shame.
Yeah, it happens.
You'd think they would return it, with an apology letter.
Yeah, other things to steal,
Right. Got a family to feed, maybe. So I'm going to pick on May for a second. If you noticed, she was just taking that yellow and smudging it into the the blue there. That's called blending, and it is permissible in the style that she's painting in, but it is not permissible when we are making gradients, especially from blocks 1 to 3 and 4.
Literally don't do anything I'm doing here ever. Like,
What's that?
just don't do anything I'm ever doing here, ever. I have too much fun, so.
And I will admit I was also guilty of doing a little bit of smudging on the live stream of that dog portrait, Carter. But it was an intentional, that time it was an intentional decision. With what May's doing, she's doing a specific technique where it lends itself to blending, whereas what I was doing was direct painting and it did not lend itself to that. But I basically, so when you blend paint together, it all gets contaminated with each other, and it tends to get more gray and muddy and kind of gross. And the section that I was working on that snout I could see that it was a bit gray in general, so I allowed myself to use a more high chroma color, like this more yellowy color, drop that in, and then when I added this like a grayish blue to blend it in, I knew it was gonna mix on the canvas the effect that I wanted. And that just happens with experience. And that's what would be perhaps an example of breaking a rule. But it would not be recommended for anybody. It was just a lot of time and experience that just helped me make that quick decision. And even then, I still would not have done it if I had more time on my hands. But being rushed, I decided to make that move.
Trying to make these clouds 3-dimensional, so increasing the value range a little bit, so the shadows are a lot more distinct. So it doesn't feel like kind of just darker and lighter areas. It's like this is behind this. So that's why I'm going back in with a smaller brush in this particular color.
So do you want to tell us more about this painting? So the lady here, there's 2 of her.
Yeah. I guess I was thinking, like, at first I kind of wanted to have this idea of someone like controlling this like massive dragon or something. I just thought that'd be like really cool. In kind of like a sleep or dreaming state maybe. And then I thought, well, if we're gonna make it just blatantly surreal and she'll be like dreaming, then why not just have like 2? So it's like you have, I don't know what the duality is supposed to represent, but I just thought it was a really cool visual. And I was looking up like imaginative realism pieces just in general, some like ideas, and like a lot of them had kind of like doubles of the same person, or like 2 people like overlapped. It's just like this play on like figures being overlapped and stuff. And I was like, I could try that. So yeah, nothing too specific yet, but definitely a lot of room for interpretation, I think, which is always fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've talked about that a lot with the other painting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That ambiguity that you won't let me unpack.
yes.
Yeah, Eric said, looks like a Magic the Gathering inspired piece of art to me. Love fantasy art.
That's high praise. Thank you. I think I'll go in the fresh brush. Well, not fresh brush. I can just clean this a bit. And use that brightest value. Hopefully that'll fix things a lot. Not fix them, just make them look a lot better.
Build it up more.
Yeah.
How's that brush taste?
Fantastic. Like success. Start big, go small, scale-wise. So.
Glenn just asked me, when am I going to do the landscape painting? So, I don't know yet. It is on the radar. We had the last week was like a follow-up from our webinar, our live webinar about making your first $1,000 in art. And thank you everyone who came to that and asked great questions. And you can check that out on our channel. So we did that one in place of the landscape one, so I've got to fit it back into the schedule somewhere. But it would be nice to do that. It'll be really, really simple. It would be more, the idea of doing it would be more of like more of a teaching kind of a thing. And I'll probably just do some very basic stuff just to illustrate how you can create the atmospheric perspective and all that. Yeah, plein air live. That would be so cool. It would be cool, but there's a lot to calculate for something like that. You've got, your weather's got to be right.
Mm-hmm.
Got to have good camera equipment. Got to have good data. So, pretty tough to do. Much easier to record something like that and then edit it later.
Yeah, for sure. We could even do like a voiceover over it to be like, explain your thought process as you went. So it's kind of in the middle of the road of a live stream. But yeah, that is a pretty difficult thing to pull off completely live. So.
Here's a good question from Darkstar.
Yeah.
When you do your photo shoots, do you do multiple scenes for figure paintings or do you shoot one painting at a time?
Usually, I only have one idea at a time, like in a specific genre. So, yeah, it's usually shoot one painting at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I go in there with like one intent, and so it's not like, oh, like this looks good for maybe over this. So it's like, oh, this looks good, so we're gonna like make a whole painting for that, or like I have this many ideas and I need to fit them all like right now, because like models get tired, you get tired, you know, and like sometimes if you go in with like a very specific vision, and the model can't do it like exactly, then you know it's kind of hard. So it's good to like not set yourself up for disappointment by having like a really explicit plan of what you want your model to be able to do like for your painting.
Mm-hmm.
So like even within one idea, it's like if you have something so specific that you want, it'll be like really tough. If you're like really married to that idea, even more so, I would imagine if you have like multiple paintings that you're trying to capture with one person in one shoot. So yeah, I would not do that.
Yep. For the photo shoots that I've been doing of this large painting, Jesus Sleeping During the Storm, there's 10 figures in it, and except for 2 of the models. The other 8 were all photographed separately. Just because of the amount of preparation and focus and managing a model, all of that, I found it much easier to just set up different appointments that way.
Yeah, like it probably sounds counterintuitive, like for being efficient, but you have to be like realistic too.
Eric said there's a portion of the drawing on the right side of the brain workbook that encourages students to find the speed of their strokes that I've been paying more attention to lately has helped me. Yes, speed can be helpful for our students. We don't encourage them to rush at all. Obviously, if you can do a painting in a decent, efficient amount of time, that's nice, but you don't want to be so focused on your speed when you're learning that it would potentially compromise the quality of your work. But it certainly can be helpful to think about that stroke economy. And it can, in some cases, it can even help, with the impression that you want to give. In Evolve, we talk about how there's 3 moving parts: the values, edges, and color. And for this kind of more representational art, your values for the most part have to be solid, right? Like there's some constraints on what you can get away with on your values. They have to work in relationship with each other, and also your colors for the most part. But it's really in your edges where you have the most amount of leeway for the artist to be unique. Like the difference between people's work, usually once you have a solid understanding, it usually shows up in the edges. How they decide to apply the brushstrokes is one of the ways that you can more distinctly tell the difference between one painter and another. Gay Rocker is asking, so is this strictly from imagination? Yep, I would say so. I mean, so she's put this image together from her imagination, and then to help her execute that inspiration and that idea, she has taken a photograph of her model and taken a photograph of the dragon model and brought in the sky and the flyer. And so that's simply a nice launching pad, a departure point for the painting. And then she's making more decisions on top of the reference that she has to create this painting. So yeah, you could absolutely say it's a imaginative realism or painting from imagination. Though I think a lot of times if someone says, I'm painting from imagination, then it might infer that you're not using any reference at all. But I would argue that it's not necessarily the case.
Making sure I'm not forgetting about like this bottom corner of background.
Really enjoying that yellow you put in there.
Thanks.
Question from Darkstar: what are your thoughts on speed painting for both of us? Darkstar, can you clarify if you're talking about the block 6 technique, speed painting, which we call speed painting, which is a layered approach, or if you're asking about speed painting as in giving yourself a set amount of time and painting it as fast as you can within that time? Yes, sir. Okay, so I'm assuming the first option. So the block 6 technique, which well, I don't know. I thought May was going with that. I guess you're doing a mixture now. So now she's kind of doing block 8 type stuff, where she's doing a combination of direct painting and block 6. She's working with, I think, thin down paint, but not so thin that like you're covering your canvas.
Mm-hmm. It's actually not thin down at all.
Oh yeah, okay.
But yeah. There's a lot of pushing around going on though. So.
Yeah. So what are my thoughts? I mean,
pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know. I used that technique. Pretty much that. Yeah, that was the. I didn't make any deviations from that technique really, for my John 21 painting. And so I'm quite familiar with it. It's my go-to for portraits and making really realistic paintings. For the painting I'm working on now, I wanted to tackle it with more of a I don't know, it's just a combination. That one really doesn't have a specific technique to it. Some parts are layered, and then other parts are directly painted. Other parts are puddled.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't strictly follow speed painting anymore, really, but I like the general idea of like building things up in layers. So that's like kind of like the overall trajectory that my paintings usually take, like process-wise. So.
Mm-hmm. What's really nice about speed painting is that you get the impression of the overall painting in very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can start to see the relationships and how these things are going to connect together. And they tend to lean into more painterly paintings as opposed to something that just looks like you're straight out of a photograph.
Yeah.
Your shadows might be just a little bit more softer and more classical feeling. There could be kind of like a glow to your speed painting because it's done in those layers. But for me, at this point when I'm painting, I'll definitely incorporate the speed painting technique when my main focus is, okay, I need to see the relationships and how they're going to work together. And, I don't, like right now, May is battling with the white panel as she's painting, as she said earlier. If she was going to do more of a speed painting approach, she would have covered everything really quickly. And she would have been able to already see all those relationships with a more, with more calibrated relationships. And so, but she's opted for this more direct painting approach so that she can move that part more forward and not have to touch it. Whereas with the speed painting, she'd have to go back again into it. But they just yield like a different, can yield different styles and results. And that comes with experience. As you get into it, Darkstar, you'll see how it just yields slightly different paintings. Yeah, mixing techniques is where it really gets fun because you become less focused on what technique you're employing, and you're just simply more focused on just painting and expressing what you want and capturing that. And you simply just have like a whole arsenal of options available for you, different paths that you can take to yield similar but slightly different results. So it gives you a lot more freedom as an artist. And it kind of lets your more uniqueness come out as a result. Trevor just said, I think working too fast is one of the most overrated and bad habits in realistic art. Much, much better to work slowly, carefully, and accurately. I think we should do a poll about it. What kind of poll would you like me to do, Trevor? Just if people like painting fast or slow, or how long it takes them. I mean, the speed can certainly vary. Yeah, and I will clarify with when we say speed painting because it's just a name that's stuck at Kevin's school, and he calls it speed painting because the total amount of hours it takes to make the painting in that layered approach is significantly less typically than a direct painting. But it doesn't mean that you are rushing to get your painting done or giving yourself time constraints, anything like that. That's why I was clarifying earlier that it's a multi-layered approach. And it's interesting if you look at like May's brush application, her brush is moving pretty fast, but you could also say that she's moving through the painting at a good pace, where she is being careful and accurate as she's going. Yeah, it can really kind of depend. Okay, so the poll about if people think that accurate but slow is more important than very fast but only approximate. So, and then to clarify that one, would that result in like, is this like a realism versus impressionism kind of a thing, or do you see that as two separate things, Trevor?
Yeah, I feel like you need to specify like the artist's intent, because like it generally varies like piece to piece. If you want like fast, like dynamic brushstrokes, or like if you're just trying to like see how much you can get done in a certain time frame, like it really depends what you're trying to do.
But even a painting that looks like it was painted fast wasn't necessarily painted fast.
Yeah.
It was simply painted more intentionally to get that result. So,
Yeah, exactly.
but I'm definitely open to make a poll here. Oh, interesting. So I was going to make this poll, and I just noticed there's a new feature called Start a Q&A. We can try that in a second, too.
What we're here for, though, live.
What's that?
Isn't that what we're here for?
Is this right?
Do that live.
Do you think it'd be fair to say, to make the poll, what do you think is more important, painting thoughtfully and carefully versus painting quickly and expressively?
Sure.
Do you think that kind of creates a bit of a
Balances it
neutral? What's that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that works.
Because I don't want to create bias for either one.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're good.
All right, let's try it. All right, just started the poll. Let us know. Also, while you're doing that, you can also subscribe to our channel. I'm so bad at reminding people about this.
You can like this video.
But I would imagine that, you know, people who enjoy this kind of thing would like to see more. But yeah, you can subscribe. If you like the live stream, really appreciate it. Just helps get this out there. Maybe some other people who want to hang out with other artists who don't have a community. You know, a lot of artists can feel really alone, and we do these live streams every Sunday, hoping to connect, hoping to guide people in a good direction. Obviously, we have our Evolve program where we help people really get the skills, but also we're just here for this evening to connect and encourage you in pursuing your dreams. Creating art without limitations. I'm so excited.
So true.
Looks like I may have gone too neutral, so we're getting some both really. Eric said, I think my partiality to impressionism gives me mixed results, LOL.
Yeah, this is very subjective.
Yeah. It's tough. Yeah, it is tough because, again, like I said, you can paint thoughtfully and carefully and get a very expressive result, or make a painting look like it was aggressively painted, even if it was done thoughtfully and carefully. Karen P said, love that sky already, fantastic.
Thank you. It has been fun.
You're having fun?
I am having fun.
Are you feeling any new colors?
Not yet. Once I go into the dragons, though, probably.
Okay, so you're still feeling that blue in the top right corner?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Even
Especially
though
'cause
you're
I
painting this orange right now.
Yeah, but it's getting like all muddied up, so not there yet. Not there yet. Soon.
Why is it getting muddy, May?
Because the paint underneath is also wet, and so this orange is blending disgustingly with whatever's underneath. But that's kind of what we want. So, in this case, in this very particular case, okay, I'd never approve this in general terms.
Yeah, for sure, Trevor. Yeah, good point. Trevor said, I just meant that there's this ideal image that a professional artist should have their... there's this ideal image that a professional artist should have their brushes flying around the canvas, but that can be a bad idea sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. Which also brings in just the question of, like, this is one of the things that we see a lot with YouTube, right? Because everyone is trying to learn on YouTube. It's free, it's accessible. You can just, you have a question, boom, you go to YouTube, you see a whole video about it, right? But you think about how YouTube works. YouTube is, it's very effective through its entertainment value. So, like, you know, people will click on the things that look incredible and fascinating. And so if you're trying to learn something, trying to develop some skills and get a real understanding, but then you're watching this incredibly amazing and experienced artist creating this painting on the spot, and they're doing things with a brush that is just like, oh my goodness, this is so cool, it's fun, it's dynamic, it's amazing, it's great entertainment. But I would kind of ask you, like, is that an education? Are you able to retain that and apply it for yourself? Because if you're gonna, you know, like those brush strokes, so much experience, so many years of experience behind those deft brushstrokes that they're making in the blink of an eye. And you know, it's like Bob Ross. It's like you see Bob Ross's work, and no harm against Bob Ross. He's amazing. He did a lot of awesome things for the art community. But you know, a lot of people would then go and try to do what he did, and they would immediately stumble because so much of what he was doing was built off of his experience. And while a lot of what he was teaching was helpful, it wasn't, you know, easily replicable because there was just a little bit more needed for a true education, which is why we're so big on giving feedback in our program. Like we can give you, like, there's so much knowledge out there in the world on YouTube, but the feedback, like seeing someone's, it's like, okay, I've just given you the information, given you the knowledge, now let me see you take that knowledge and apply it. And any gaps that are missed, I'm going to be able to see them in the paint that you made, and then be able to give you more knowledge that is very specific to where you're at in that journey, and also tell you what you're doing well, so reinforcing those good habits, and then letting them know where they can improve. And it just becomes so much more efficient and effective in that education, because there's so many things to think about, right? Like does May need to study like cloud shapes in a book for 2 hours before she even attempts to paint a cloud? Does she have to like do like all these things like color theory and is that a bridge down there that you painted already?
Yeah.
So it's like
Do I have to study architecture too?
there's so much subject matter out there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're thinking in that way, it's so inefficient, it's so unproductive, and it's kind of going off the rails there, but it's really important to, so yeah, what I was saying is like, there's so much knowledge, there's so many things where people are saying, oh, you need to focus on this, you need to focus on that. This is the most important thing, and it's like, who do you learn from? Like, you know, where do you get this, like, what is the most important thing at the stage that you're in that you need to focus on in order to move forward? And that really happens through feedback and guidance. But that's not available on YouTube. And that's also why we're so happy to share what we're doing and to share the knowledge, because it's just like the knowledge is just a piece of the education that we're really providing. You know, the money that you spend in the program is really for the instructors that are looking out for you and making sure that you get the results.
Oh, the urge to paint directly, man.
Laurel said, "Hi all, May, it looks incredible so far."
Thank you. Hello.
I'm going to close out this poll. So we got 19 votes and 89% decided to go with painting thoughtfully and carefully over painting quickly and expressively.
I'm not surprised.
All right, but let's try this Q&A. So I'm going to start a Q&A here. It says, answer viewer questions live. Okay. So it's giving me a prompt to ask a question. What do you want me to ask? Any ideas? Or am I saying something? Or, Start Q&A. Do I ask a question and then you all answer? Let's try this. Let's see how this goes. Where are you all from? All right, I'm hitting the button, Start Q&A. New YouTube features.
Can I get a time check?
It is 8:26.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, so we've got my icon here, Q&A, where are y'all from? Oh, okay, so people are answering inside of the typical chat here. I'm going to see what this looks like on the YouTube viewer side. Thank you, everyone, for letting me test out the new live stream features during our stream here. Oh, cool. Okay. All right, so it's just like a little blurb that shows up on top that asks people question, and then they're just answering in the chat. What I was kind of hoping was that it would somehow allow people to ask us questions, and then we could somehow share it onto our screen, which I thought would be really cool, so that we could show really clearly which question that we would be answering. But we got people from all over the place. Ohio, Texas, unfortunately Tulsa, Austin, Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee. Originally from SoCal though, very nice. Knoxville, Tennessee, Oregon, Milford, Utah, New Jersey, Orlando, Florida, Hawaii.
Whoa. What? That's so cool.
That is really cool. And their username is Gumby, and I really like that.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Gumby, for joining us. Oh. Eric said, it does, Daniel. If you click the button in the blue box, it will send a question. Will it? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm seeing a question from Glenn Ray asking, do you paint with acrylic?
No, I don't.
So it says I can select the question. I'm going to try that now. Nice. Okay, this is cool. So I selected Glenn's question. Glenn, thank you for that. And I believe it's now showing, yeah, it's now showing up in everyone else's chat. Very cool. Oh, I'm so happy. This is very cool. Okay, so the question is, May, do you paint with acrylic?
No.
No.
I use it sometimes to like prep a panel because it dries really fast. So if I have to like paint, you know, it would have been pretty nice if I did it today, but I didn't. Yeah, but if you want to paint directly on something, but want to have like flats or a toned or something underneath, then it's pretty helpful because it dries in like 5 minutes or something. But yeah.
Yeah, I had a video about oil paint versus acrylic, and I will say I'm a little biased, but I tried to give some, you know, as objective as I could, some objective reasons about why oil paint was really, I wasn't making the case of, you know, whether or not oil paint is better than acrylic. I think that's kind of a silly question to ask, but I was simply tackling the video from a point of view of which one is better to learn with. And surprise, surprise, the answer was oil paint because it's just so much more versatile, so much more forgiving. For some reason, a lot of people tend to be intimidated by oil paint, but there's very simple ways to take care of the things that make people intimidated by it. From its, from the, you know, people think that a lot of oil paint is toxic, and very few oil paint is toxic. And you can easily find substitutes that are not toxic. And a lot of the toxicity actually comes from the medium, like turpentine, but we don't use any of that. So like all of the supplies that we send our students in the Evolve program, completely toxic free. Yeah, and I made some other points too. Your range of, like the fact that you have time, that's like one of the big things I was stressing, is you have time. Like imagine that you are trying to say something to somebody, aka you're trying to make a painting, you're trying to express something visually. But as you're trying to say something to somebody, it's like imagine that the door is like there's a door in between you and the person you're trying to talk to, and that door is closing. Because the moment that you start working with that acrylic paint, unless you have a special medium in it, it's already drying. It's going through the drying process as you are painting. So on the one hand, you've got like, you don't have, the paint, the consistency of the acrylic paint is changing on the spot on you as you are working. So you have to treat the the acrylic paint slightly differently at each stage of its drying process as you're working. And you're feeling rushed because this door is closing on you when it's all going to be dry, and then you're going to have to paint a new layer on top of it if you don't get the desired result. And so you're kind of like, you're saying your sentences, hello, my name is Daniel, but then the door's closing. It's like, oh, and I was homeschooled or whatever. I love painting art. And you just like have to just get it all out super fast because the door's closing on you. And so it's just like a very, very difficult to learn a language when you're under a time constraint like that. It just adds one more complexity to the learning process. But if you have the time to just say what you want to say and focus specific on each word and how you're going to enunciate it, of course, translate that analogy into painting, then it just gives you so much more freedom. And then it's also forgiving too. Like you can kind of quote unquote say something with a brush with oil and then shift it and paint on top of it right there, and it will you'll be able to fix that. So it's very forgiving, the most forgiving medium. And then watercolor is even more, is even less forgiving. It's even tougher to work with. Okay, I think we are live again.
Nice.
Hopefully everything is working as it should. Thank you everyone for your patience with us there. Very, very sorry for the delay. So there you are. Yep, we are back.
Nice. So you haven't missed much.
What's that?
They haven't missed much, just more.
Actually, they missed the blocking in of the tail.
It was like the same as up here though, I
Yep.
think. But yeah, same color family. I did use some of the grays that I used in the background, like over here. It's kind of good though. Or more illegal blending, okay.
Working in between the fingers.
Can't forget it.
It is 8:45.
Okay.
How are you feeling on time?
Pretty okay. Like, if I don't get to block the figures in, like, it's not a big deal. So, rather just finish the dragons. And I think I can do that, because nothing's going to be, like, rendered or whatever. So, it won't be like the background. This is really just blocking in. So I think I should be fine.
So what's the plan? You're going to do just the dragon stuff?
I'm going to prioritize that, yeah. But if I have time, I'd like to block in the figures as well. But if I don't, it's like not the end of the world. So it's like I have room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Eric said, conveniently had time to fill in more of the painting while sight was down with no prying eyes.
Worked so much faster without you guys. Ooh.
Yeah, sneaky, sneaky. All right, let's see. I want to...
It's a good amount. Good amount to be full. after like, what? Not that long. Just realized this is not properly filled.
So we've got a question in the question queue from Eric Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried oil pastels alongside your oil paintings?
No. Sounds intriguing, but I have not. I don't have much experience with like mixed media, so. But definitely like down the line when I'm less busy, it would be fun to like experiment with stuff. Okay. On to the next dragon, I guess. All right.
So they're different dragons?
I think so, because they're like different tails, so it kind of implies like 1, 2, 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a few shots of like the head of the dragon too. They just didn't look good, so I just have never used them. But yeah, I was actually like thinking about how to scale the dragons, like not size-wise, but like atmosphere-wise, because if I made the ones in the back, like the tails in the back, like closer in color to the background, like less saturated, less red, then it would look like really far away. So it would look like a huge dragon instead of like a bigger one that's just closer. But I was like talking about it with Kevin, and I was like, well, I want to like, I'm like messing in Photoshop, and it's kind of hard to like balance these colors, right? He was like, well, why does it have to be far away? And I was like, I guess it doesn't. And he was like, yeah, just leave it up close. And I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah. I think it's like interesting because it connects the dragons to the figures like much more closely. So you have like one big like unified subject, which is like interesting.
Yeah, my first impression was that maybe she is a dragon lady. Like,
Yeah.
she, like that is actually part of her body.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's all one thing.
Yeah.
Like an octo dragon.
Yeah. I mean, I really like the idea of her being like connected to them and like controlling them and stuff. Like they're an extension of her. So I think that definitely helps.
And there's two of her also. So she's very powerful.
Yeah.
Eric Hunt said, wait, octo dragon? No, that's good. I'm using that. Thanks, Daniel. You're welcome.
Very cool phrase.
Yeah, we've had some Magic the Gathering fans in the chat debating about Magic the Gathering things.
As they do. Pretty cool. I wasn't really thinking of that when I was composing this, but I'm glad it's like inspiring like other fandoms. Like that's pretty sick.
I can definitely see the correlation. I played a little bit of Magic the Gathering. I feel like this card might do really well as like a one of those cards that exiles another card from the battlefield.
Yes. Power.
Or it could be something having to do with like instant or sorcery spells.
Taking that as a compliment.
Have a Wonderful Day just joined us.
Hello.
Just asked, what's going on in the painting?
You tell me.
Yeah, let's hear it. Sarah Price said she's a multitasking dragon queen.
Exactly.
That fits. What are the different tasks that she's handling right now, Sarah?
Am I directly painting this? What is happening? It's fine.
It is 8:52, so got an hour and 10 minutes left.
Oh my god.
Yeah, when I say it like that, right? It's funny how decisive Eric is. He's like, she's clearly doing some sort of arcane ritual involving dance and summoning.
Yes.
Clearly.
Ritual was on my mind.
Maybe that's the name,
designing this.
perhaps.
Mayhaps.
Okay, so
Trials and tribulations.
Have a Wonderful Day said, a woman is growing out of herself like a snake. Her evil is leaking out and she has plummeted a roller coaster in the process.
Wow.
Now, to be fair, Have a Wonderful Day has not seen like the reference it's just only seen like the photo next to you. So I'll let you see the reference.
Oh, that's interesting. Like the instant reference to villainy. I guess because there's a lot of red.
Oh, I see what you did there. Reference. The reference.
Oh my god. Not intentional.
Have a Wonderful Day said she's contributed to the burning of the world.
Oh my god, she is. That's crazy. I love the lore
Donna
that I'm not providing.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of great.
Yeah, we love it when you guys give us the lore. It's really makes it fun. Donna Moon Goddess said, this is looking great, May. Totally my kind of thing. I love dragons and also powerful women.
Yeah.
Heart emoji and moon emoji.
Sick. Glad you're enjoying it.
Have a
Thank you.
Wonderful Day just said, is that a dragon?
Yeah. Multiple. Maybe. I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, and Sarah Price answered my question about multitasking. She said, oh, she has to do everything in that kingdom, Daniel. Her work is never done. That's what my mother says.
Yeah, she knows how it is.
Though I confess I wouldn't quite paint my mother in this as a dragon queen. Thankfully not something quite as intimidating. But she certainly is a hard worker, my goodness.
This looks pretty cool. It also helps that I don't have my glasses on.
So you're painting this with blind?
Usually I wear contacts at night and they're like hard plastic, so they like push my eyeballs back. So when I wake up in the morning and take them out, I have like 20/20 vision. But last night I forgot to wear them. I was up late and just crashed. So yeah, so I'm like half blind today. I mean, I can see up to like my hand, and then like past that it's like blurry. So like painting, like everything's still fine. But like when I step back, it's like not totally fine, which I think is kind of funny.
Have a Wonderful Day said, someone save the poor woman in the painting. She has been forced to go through so much. So that's a different take.
It's a very different take.
Maybe she's
being possessed by the dragons, bro.
Whoa.
That'd be crazy. I don't know. You tell me.
Eric Hunt said, imagine having 20/20 vision, worn glasses since 3 years old.
It's 3? Wow. I've been nearsighted since I was in first grade. So that's like 6 or 7 years old. But yeah, wow, three's not a lot. So yeah, usually that's like the one thing. If I could change one thing about myself physically, it's like perfect vision. Like literally. I do plan on getting LASIK at some point. That would save so much like energy and thought. I can't imagine just opening my eyes and just having perfect vision without like a piece of hard plastic in there too, you know? Like that's crazy. So if you have perfect vision, appreciate it, like on my behalf, please.
So now Have a Wonderful Day is wondering if she's becoming the dragon.
That's a very cool take. No answer.
Just feed us more.
Yeah. Honestly, like I didn't even have this many ideas when I was like putting this whole thing together. I was like, just make it look as cool as possible.
Yeah, if anyone here is a storyteller, we would love to hear the story of this painting. I'm sure May wouldn't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Paint us a picture with words. Give her a name.
Oh, that's kind of hard because in my head, she's just my friend. What?
So Eric said, oh, that begs the question of which is preferred, top-down or bottom-up design for characters and stories. I don't know. Take your pick. Gay Rocker said, only so many characters in a text message. That's true, but you are welcome to, I think it's, you have 200 characters per message. So, succinct is definitely preferable.
You could write it in a Google Doc and drop us the link. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, we will be
If you're a
streaming
true fan, you'll make us a Google Doc. That's pretty funny.
Yo, that would be really kind of cool if we did like,
Oh my gosh.
we probably will not do this, but it is a cool idea. If like we did like a story writing contest and then just like had people submit their different stories based on this painting, and
That'd actually be really cool.
people would just share, and we could do like a little prize or something, do little votes,
Yeah, they get like a print of this painting or something if they win. That would be cool.
That would be cool. But the thing is like, this is a YouTube channel about painting, not about writing.
Sadness.
Maybe we did a little do it in your own style. Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Don't make me look bad, guys.
Yeah, what if Kevin entered into the competition?
Bro, I would rescind everything. I would withhold the source material.
Also, we have a name.
Yeah.
It's
It's too early to have a name.
Her
Remember last
name?
time we were voting on like the last stream session. Yeah, what is it?
so Have a Wonderful Day said her name is Eslisha.
Wow.
Eslisha. I like the Es kind of gives it the
The
like
fantasy of
dragon-
the Z.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, in my head, she's just Clarissa, so.
Ooh. Sarah Price asked a good question. I wonder if she knew she was going to turn into a dragon, or if it was a surprise to her. And Have a Wonderful Day thinks that she's transforming into a dragon.
I think both takes.
Oh, now Have a Wonderful Day has changed the name to Ezreia. Eric said, I mean, if you're doing some sort of ritual with dragons, I feel like you know what is about to happen. I don't think accidental transformations go with let's dance with dragons.
Maybe it's just like a ritual gone wrong, though. You know?
Well, I mean, you got to tell that story. Maybe it was an accidental,
So
but
true.
you know, you got to take us there.
So true.
Maybe she was, maybe she found like this big cave, and maybe she was practicing for a dance for her tribe a few miles away or something. But as she was dancing, she awoke, like she inspired the ancient dragon of old, which then burst out of the ground and began roiling and coiling all around her. That's my attempt. Rebecca has a very different take. Maybe she's just chilling, lounging on the dragon.
So true.
Hey, we like chilling. Question from Rick: has anyone tried digital painting with
I have.
Painter? I have tried digital painting. It's very, very nice. Got its good uses.
Very enjoyable.
A lot of the reference creation that I used for the painting I'm working on now, I had to do digitally, so that I could really, you know, play with a whole bunch of different things really quickly, and then know exactly what I wanted in my painting. Nay jumped in to say, I saw the multiple hands and looked closer and realized it's two girls. Their posture and hand gestures somehow reminds me of a flamenco dancer. Also the dark hair. I do not know what a flamenco dancer is, but sounds cool.
Yeah, it was a fun photo shoot. Fun photoshopping process.
Now, have a wonderful day. Said, I agree. Like, oh, I'm going to go. This is about the story I think I shared. Like, oh, I'm going to go summon a dragon. Hopefully old Firecracker doesn't awaken. I don't think it was intentional. Eric said, true. Could also be some type of sacrifice to save the village. Now, but then, have a wonderful day said, I got to, like, find an acronym for have a wonderful day.
Have.
Wonderful? How about wonderful? We'll call you wonderful. Wonderful
That's a
said,
lot nicer than have.
she looks as if she is used to this in a way. Like these are her powers.
Yes, she's not distressed.
But then Gay Rocker said the flailing arms seem contrary.
It's not flailing. I feel like the hands are together. It's not like out. If you're out, it's like panicked.
But then Wonderful said, or she was bullied and she became a dragon villain.
Villain origin story.
And then Eric said, the flailing arms are a part of expression. Also, all that heat will push you back for sure.
I love how like into this everyone is getting. It's pretty cute.
And then Rachel just chimed in, this is already looking amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Stop. Thank you. Okay.
And then Kevin is asking, how long did it take to create the reference in Photoshop?
2 to 3 hours, maybe. Yeah. A while.
Okay, we're going deeper now. Wonderful said, maybe it's a metaphor.
Oh my God.
Maybe it shows that when she dances, she feels powerful and in control, like she's burning everything in her path.
It's a pretty terrible way of feeling powerful, but yeah. So powerful and destructive. In the gym.
Okay, now we're getting a redemption arc in here from Trevor.
Oh my God.
Trevor said to Wonderful, or they were bullied and became a hero like Christ after he was beaten and crucified. Wow.
Wow. The lore.
This is really going in all sorts of places.
What is going on?
Wonderful said, I'm sorry for all these ideas. I love to create conclusions. No, please don't be sorry.
Stop being sorry. This is like fantastic.
This is really great.
This is insanely like entertaining and like fulfilling for me.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I created something that, like, I don't even know what it means, but everyone else is like so invested in trying to figure it out. That makes me very happy. So
Eric
thank you.
Hunt said Chaos Dance would be an awesome card name for Magic the Gathering.
I do like the idea of chaos. There's in like Greek mythology, there's like Apophis, who's the snake of like the apocalypse, and he's in like this. If you guys know like Percy Jackson, it's like by the same author, like the Kane Chronicles, and they feature Apophis a lot because you know, classic villain. So definitely when I'm like looking at this, I think of that, like this massive serpent. But yeah, he's like the god of the apocalypse and like general chaos. Like in Egyptian mythology, like the main dichotomy was like it was chaos and order, not like good and evil. So chaos was the main bad guy. Fun fact.
Wait, say that again?
In like Egyptian mythology, it wasn't like good versus evil as like the main dichotomy in like mythology, and also just like their lifestyle. It was like order and chaos. It's like the main forces of the universe.
You think chaos is evil?
No. Chaos is what's natural. And it's like what we were talking about with like light and dark, where it's like darkness as like a invasively passive, but it's not inherently evil. It's just like there. While like light requires like fuel to exist, and so it's inherently finite. So it's like, you know, like order requires energy to sustain itself, and like productivity and like everything else that's derived from order, but it's like finite.
Chaos does not require energy?
I mean, entropy occurs like naturally, right? Like,
Is entropy and chaos the same? I'm just curious and just asking. So I
I
don't have
mean,
a direction
like
to this at all.
entropy generates chaos. Like it's just constant randomization and expansion. So I think so. That's just what I was taught in like science
Interesting.
class. So
I guess I kind of thought of entropy as like it leads to nothingness or like the lack of things.
it's just like an abundance
decay.
of things, but like then the ratio of meaningful things to like things in general like decreases. If that makes sense.
But does it create more randomness?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's just like more stuff in like,
More stuff that's not meaningful.
yeah, like not inherently meaningful. So it required like energy to give it meaning.
Huh. Interesting.
That's just like my understanding. I don't know if I'm right or anything. So
Yeah, that's just interesting. Coming back to the chat here. I forget if I said this or not. Rick
More.
said, could be the Dragon Woman from House of the Dragon on HBO.
Ooh, speaking of.
Eric said, seems like a very invested summoner. He's a little skeptical that she's a hero or a villain, just a summoner.
Doing her duties, you know?
Debbie said she summoned them to form the infinity circle of the Ouroboros so she can time travel. And the side effect of all this splits her into two.
Maybe there's one part of her that like stays here and the other part the other part travels.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Travels where?
I don't know, through time. Like what she was saying.
Yeah, Rocker said could be chaos neutral, which I think is a reference to D&D, maybe. Wonderful said, oh my goodness, she summoned a dragon spirit and it caused her to burn everything around her.
There's still a castle in the back. That's surviving.
And Eric said chaos is just an increase in free energy.
Yeah.
And Nay said, or the dancers charm the mighty dragon. Yeah, that's a good take too. Chandra, glad to have you here.
Hello.
And Wonderful said, if chaos is just an increase of free energy, jail is just a fancy hotel with bars. I don't understand. I'm trying to. It's a nice red color you got there. You can
Thank
already
you.
see the chroma increasing.
The chroma's increasing.
I mean, we could have made this our landscape live stream, actually. Because really the whole idea for me doing a landscape is to kind of talk about the atmosphere and atmospheric perspective. And you can see how the larger red tail, the one that's closer to us, is more red. And then the other tail further back is less red, aka it's more gray. Or in other words, it's leaning more towards blue in order to be more gray. And so it's becoming more like the sky behind it. It's becoming closer to the environment. But as it's getting closer, it's getting more red. So that helps reinforce, not just because it's larger, but also the colors and even the values are a little bit darker in it. And that's helping it pop forward. And it's going to give this painting a lot of depth. And I will say, it's not that depth will probably come out stronger in this painting than the reference image, I'm guessing.
Hopefully.
We'll see what May does.
Yeah. There's a lot of potential here.
Kevin Nilsley said, I think she is a heroine and she is dodging an attack like Neo in The Matrix. Nice.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty epic. And Eric almost drank ink instead of coffee.
I'm glad you didn't drink ink.
That would be very bad.
That is all.
Okay, take care, Wonderful.
All right, bye.
Thank you for your wonderful lore. On the contrary, Gay Rocker, this could be a paint-along. Anyone who's watching is welcome to paint, hang out with us while we're doing this. A few of our Evolve artists here who are in the program are probably painting, working on their assignments right now as May's working on this. It's just a fun way to connect and share in what we're doing. It is 9:14.
Whoa. Okay. All right, time to speed run. That works.
Well, not speed run, just
Run.
maybe turn it into more of a speed painting,
Yeah. Stop.
aka just doing like a more looser,
Yeah.
rougher pass where she can just build it up and then subsequent layer. Creative Life is doing the bunny's homework right now from block 1. That's awesome.
Fun.
You're almost done with block 1. Oh, Angela, okay. Angela said she would love to paint her assignment, but she is still waiting for her box. How long have you been waiting for the box to arrive, Angela? Trevor asked, what's the rush? Is there one? So not really, except for the fact that this is a live stream and we have quite a lot of people who watch these after they're done. And, the difference, it's like just having a consistent amount of time where people have clear expectations on what that time is going to be for people to come in just helps a little bit. If it's a 5-hour live stream, it might be more daunting for people to watch the stream. So we just want to keep it consistent and have consistent expectations, that's all. But there are times when we do go over, but I don't want to encourage it so that it becomes a habit. But it's actually quite fine if we go over a little bit. But the idea is to end at 10, 7 to 10 EST. Sarah Price is also painting along. She said this stream creates such a nice atmosphere. Yay. Oh no, Angela. She said it's frustrating because they drove past my house and it is about 4 hours away.
Oh.
It should be here by Tuesday. Sorry to hear that. Jeff Allen is almost done with block 2. Very nice. Getting into color soon. That's always exciting. I think we're going to have to move the camera here.
What?
I just moved the camera.
Oh, and then I
you
just went to the opposite side.
Yeah, you just went from bottom straight to top.
My bad.
It's all
mean,
good.
probably just
It's
like-
just funny because
Probably just like zoom out, yeah.
Especially for towards the end, I tend to be just chasing you around. It's always funny like that. This is pretty good though.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be a little all over the place. Because
That's
I have to
good.
fill in like the closest dragon, and kind of goes like all the way around, so.
Are you gonna leave the figure white?
Probably end up doing that, yeah. It's okay though.
Not even a quick single pass.
I'll see how the dragons go. It's like not essential.
Take care, Rick. Glenn is on his last assignment in block 2. That's
Cool.
awesome. More color. Right on the horizon there.
It's like gunk underneath the little easel stand there. It's okay though. All right.
Eric Hunt said, I saw an interesting chart online recently discussing the size differences between dragons, worms, serpents, etc. Recently, more nerd stuff. I wonder what, like, would that have to be within a certain universe? Because I feel like they could be any size that the creator chooses. Nina said, I was reading in a James Gurney book that dragons don't normally have their mouths open. They keep their mouths closed when they fly or run or however they propel themselves forward.
Makes sense.
Interesting. Unless they're breathing fire down on a town.
Yeah. What?
Eric said, it's interesting to consider that nearly every developed culture on the planet, past and present, has some sort of quote-unquote serpent in their mythology, though, almost as universal as fried dough desserts.
Yeah.
I didn't know that fried dough desserts were universal.
Yeah, pretty much. Or the idea of like a carbohydrate wrapped around like a protein as a meal.
But dough is a grain staple, right?
Yeah, like
In
flour.
Asian countries, you've got rice as a... Oh, flour.
Yeah. Well, they sell like fried like rice, like sesame balls in like China or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Or like the meat dumpling things. But is that made
I
out of...
guess.
Is that dough? I guess so.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Learn something every day. Thank you, Eric. Dina said we have alligators here in Florida. They are big. They like to lay around in the sun and fall asleep.
Just like me for real.
Gay Rocker's asking about a hydra. I imagine that a hydra simply has multiple heads.
Yeah. And then if you cut one off, another one two grow back. And the only way to kill it is to put fire on all the decapitated, like, necks, I guess. I read Percy Jackson when I was younger, and that's how I know that.
Mm.
So, 7 heads. It's either 7 or 9. I forget.
I wonder if alligators are just dragons that got so lazy that they didn't need their wings anymore.
So sad.
They just like the water so much. It's like, why would I fly when I can swim? I don't
That's so sad.
know. If they like the sun so much, falling asleep, laying around.
Yeah, Nietzsche would not be proud.
Why is that?
Like the German philosopher.
He
All
talked about
about-
not being lazy.
Well, all about like achieving like Ubermensch, like being the most enhanced best version of yourself ever. So yeah, not being lazy.
We're getting now a nature approach to all this. So Eric said, alligators and crocodiles have definitely been the inspiration for many tales of dragons. And Chandra said, snakes are so fascinating and dumb, hence Ouroboros eating its own tail. Chandra has been watching Snake Discovery for years, and now we have a dragon called Bobby that will appear one day.
We what?
I don't know. I haven't heard about this Bobby. Please share. Oh, Bobby is a bearded dragon, but we call him our dragon as he sounds so badass.
What is going on?
Well, I guess we'll see him painted.
That's fun though.
That's cool. And then Eric said, the Komodo is most assuredly a dragon-like creature. And then Dina said, the big wading birds love them, aka alligators, because the alligators eat the predators that want to eat the bird eggs.
It's awesome.
That is cool. Sounds like
Sounds like a wonderful relationship.
yeah, but do the alligators get anything out of it, I wonder?
Food, right?
So what?
I mean, they're like eating the predators, so they're like sustenance, right?
Oh, right. So the predators come for the bird eggs, but then the alligator eats the predator.
Yeah,
So the alligator gets fed,
Yeah.
and the wading birds get protected,
yeah.
and it's a symbiotic relationship. How lovely.
Beautiful. Sensational, even.
Eric said symbiosis with the sunglass emoji. Now, Gay Rocker also commented that yes, but the Komodo spits venom, not fire. This is true. Is the venom flammable though?
What?
Has anyone tried?
What is happening to this chat?
Eric said, I mean, venom, fire, same thing.
Some projectile, dangerous thing, you know.
Gay Rocker said, May, focus, dear.
I'm
LOL.
trying, dog. Y'all won't stop talking about dragons and like Komodo dragons and whatever. No, I'm kidding. It's great.
And then Glenn has now said that dragons were once a living creature here on Earth.
See what I mean?
Dun, dun, dun. This is so cool. And then Chandra said, Komodo dragons are terrifying. They bite you and hang around to eat you once you die. All right.
What absolute badasses, dude. That's sick. They're like, our
It's
job
pretty
here is
efficient.
done. We're just
Right.
gonna hang out now.
Yeah, I just bit you once, so I'm just going to chill,
Yeah.
maybe have a little conversation,
Yeah.
and then I'll eat you.
Jay chillin'.
Just going to hang around, you know? Eric said, that's the jump off point for an interesting short story. Well, let's
Write
hear it.
them. Send them to me.
Gay Rocker said, just picture it, the next B-movie horror, Como-nado.
I refuse to picture that, actually.
I don't know what B-movie horror means, but I understand the reference to Sharknado. I'm trying, you know. I was homeschooled, so some of these references are tough for me. Yeah, whenever I don't understand a joke, I just attribute it to being homeschooled. So are you feeling this red color now that you've been painting this red color for a while?
Yeah. It's funny how that works. Oh. There's still so much space. Okay. New brush. Oh,
Thank you, Eric. Eric explained what B horror means.
what does it mean?
It refers to films done with low budgets or limited supplies, usually never making it to theater. Very informative. Appreciate it. Ooh. New color. Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Why look at this?
It is 9:35.
That is somewhat unpleasant, but it's okay.
Moving at a good pace, though.
Yeah. I will be okay.
I see you're adding that more red
Mm-hmm.
color to surround the orange.
Yeah, so it doesn't make like gross green stuff
Mm.
too much.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, you would.
The painting I'm working on is incredibly blue, like a dark but very colorful blue, with these orange lights, and I'm getting green in my midtones as a result. So I've got to be very thoughtful about how I approach it. Wow, that orange really makes a big difference.
Yeah. In a good way. Ah. Okay.
Okay, take care, Karen.
Bye.
So for our next live stream, May and I were thinking about doing a photo shoot with all of you. As you know, you guys see when we come in to do these kinds of paintings like this one here, the photo shoot is already done, the Photoshop work is already done, and we were thinking it might be cool to try to capture that in a live stream. Where that's the current plan. It's going to be a little tough to do because you got to figure we'll want someone to be running the tech side of the live stream, we'll want somebody on a camera, we'll want a model. Oh, sweet, people seem to be really interested. And then what we were also thinking of doing, and this is sort of, it's just an infantile idea, is maybe having like different kinds of lighting setups. Like maybe we start like with a kind of a DIY approach where we have just like a very basic house lamp to start and use an iPhone or a smartphone to shoot. And then we go up to another level of like maybe like an intermediate, like something that you might purchase off of Amazon, lighting equipment, maybe like a cheap DSLR that I have from back in the day. And then maybe we upgrade again to one of our nicer cameras like what you're seeing here on the live stream with real professional quality lighting. That might be one way that we decide to break it down and do things. Or maybe we focus instead on different poses with the model, if we have a model. We'll have to get a model. That hasn't, a lot of this is kind of just in the idea. Eric said, teach me. Yeah, so that'd be pretty cool. We're not professional photographers, but I would say we know what we're doing, It'll be probably one of my first times teaching on photography, if I'm the one leading it. So we're not exactly sure how we'll do it. We might even try to go live through a phone so that we can move the camera around a little bit more and kind of take you guys with us as we're playing with the settings or things like that. Not really sure, but yeah, it's really good to know that you guys are interested, and I think that'd be really awesome to do. We'll definitely, if it's not going to be next week, we'll definitely be thinking about how we can do it, because I think it'd be really cool to supplement with these kinds of paintings that we're making. And then maybe, a few weeks after that, we could do like a Photoshop session as well, where it's like, okay, here are the photos that we took. Now let's turn it into a composition for a painting using Photoshop or something like that. So we've got these ideas roaming around, and hopefully we can bring something really cool to you guys. Welcome back, Becky. Welcome back, Edie. Becky, good to hear. Yeah, and we probably won't go so much into composition, because typically the compositional stuff happens before you do a photo shoot. So this would be more focused on the photo shoot and the importance of lighting and things like that. Here's a question from Trevor May.
Yeah.
Is there a specific reason why you didn't paint the central figure first?
That just wasn't the goal for today. I wanted to do the background and kind of lay in the flats for everything so that the entire image has like a nice context for itself in terms of like colors and value. Whoa, sorry. And yeah, I definitely wouldn't have been able to like paint the entire figure like in the middle as like a first starting point. It probably would have taken too long, and it wouldn't have like been as well informed as it could be by its surroundings. So, and I probably won't be following the reference like super closely based with like color and atmosphere and stuff. And so there would have been like a lot of changes I would have ended up wanting to make after putting in the background, after doing the figure. So it makes most sense to me to do the figure last and kind of make the background everything that it can be as a starting point.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that makes sense.
And Eric asked, will there be thumbnail sketches? So yeah, there's stuff like that where I'm not really sure, like, do we get into the compositional elements before we do the photo shoot? I don't know, I think it'd be easier to stay more specific to just the photo shoot side of things.
Yeah.
Maybe we will have some thumbnail sketches that show what we're hoping to do with the photo shoot or something. But we'll see. We'll see if we have that. Yeah, one step at a time. Trevor said the start is the heart. Yeah, for some people. For me, it often is.
Like the hardest part? Or?
No, like the start is the heart. Like it starts with
Oh.
the inspiration, or like you get compelled,
I see.
perhaps. But if you're doing like a portrait, then not necessarily, or a commission, not necessarily. In that case, the heart really came from someone else, and then you're now channeling that into something that will resonate with that initial heart reaction that your client had. Yes, Sarah, so May is going to be doing this in multiple sessions. This is just the first pass.
A lot done today. That's good. How are we on time?
It is 9:50.
Okay.
If you were going to do the figure,
Yeah.
how much time do you think you would need realistically?
5 to 10 minutes.
Really, you would just do like one quick pass on it?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. Let me finish this first.
So we're gonna cover the whole painting today. We might go over a little bit, but that's all right.
Right.
This canvas is 24 by 24 inches, so 2 feet by 2 feet.
Yep.
I gotta say, it's really nice how that cloud shows up in
This
the
one?
tails. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, take care, Edie. See you at the next stream.
Bye.
Yeah, so the reference photo was made using photo shoots that May did of both the dragon and the model, and then it was all stitched together using Photoshop. Yeah, it is really cool.
Thank you. What's going on down there? It's all like overlapped and weird, so there's no right color.
What was the dragon made out of? The one that you did a photo shoot of?
Oh, like metal.
Metal?
Yeah.
It's like a little sculpture, right?
Yeah.
Or a big one?
It was this tall.
You're gonna have to raise your hands a little higher.
I don't know, like
You're,
2 to 3 feet or
okay,
something.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really big.
And it's pretty sick.
Where did you find this dragon?
It was decor at a restaurant that I work at.
Nice.
Yeah.
Always got to keep an eye out for those kinds of things.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been trying to get my manager to sit for a portrait for like ever, and she won't because she's so busy. Sad. She's so pretty though. It kills me. Anyway. And she's like the manager, so she always like dresses like really well and stuff. So it's like, please, let me paint you.
It's always a bit surprising to me when someone's like, I'm all right, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, really? Like, you could be immortalized in this painting. Like,
Yeah. I mean, like, she wants to. She's just, like, insanely busy because she has to just, like, be at the restaurant, like, 24/7. Kind of sucks.
that was nice. Wee.
Yeah. See how that goes. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Enough.
Playtime's over.
Playtime's over. Time to fill. I guess this color works.
So is that going to be like a flesh tone?
Yeah. Be like that.
Nice and rich.
Yeah.
Hey Rocker said, why do I keep thinking of Stargate for some reason?
Maybe this composition is just so inspiring. It's just calling everything everyone's ever thought of to mind. Yeah, when people say no to, like, if I ask them to, like, model, like, I get, like, mildly offended. I'm like, come on, man. You're so missing out right now, you know? I know.
Great question from Trevor. Is the paint transparent right now so it won't cover up and lose drawing lines?
I didn't thin it down at all. It's just, I'm just, like, aggressively scrubbing it so it gets thinned, like, during the application. So, but yes, like, I'm doing that so that I'm not losing the transfer. I mean, I've already lost it in, like, most of the sky in the background because that was, like, my intention. But, like, for the dragons and for the figure, yeah. Whoa. That's a lot.
Whoa.
Yeah. Chroma.
What colors did you use to mix that red?
This one?
I can't see because your hair's in the way. You gotta step back the other way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just the two reds, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think a little bit of brown is in there too.
Oh, hey, Kara. Kara said stopping in to say hi again. I have to stop seeing your live when you're nearing the end. Yeah. No worries.
They're up
Happy
on
to
YouTube.
have you say hi.
They're up on YouTube forever.
Oh, the color of the orange mix?
Oh. Naples yellow, Chev yellow, Chev. Is it Chev? Yeah, Chev red,
Mm-hmm.
light green. Maybe white. I forget.
He is asking, what is the idea behind the two people so close together? Well, I believe our audience can give you a full description at this point. We talked about it quite in length. She could be doing a ritual of sorts, summoning this dragon, or maybe she was dancing and then the dragon showed up because she was dancing, or she's becoming a dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Eric
covers
said,
it.
"Oh, we have the lore."
You're right. You're so right.
Yeah, everyone help me out here. What else do we have?
Sacrifice.
Yeah, sacrifice happening to save a village.
I don't know where people came up with a village. There's literally like a castle in the background. Like,
Oh, there is?
yeah.
Where? I see the Brit.
Here.
Oh, over
Yeah.
there. Gay Worker said, in a sense, make up your own at this point.
Literally.
That's pretty much it. Oh, okay. Eric has decided to explain. So, Samala here has volunteered for the bicentennial village sacrifice to save her village.
Oh my god.
All the girls learn the specific dance. Only one is chosen. Oh, Gay Rocker just noticed the other set of arms. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. Angela said, or maybe she's kind of like Medusa.
Maybe she is.
Yeah, she's the Octo Dragon lady. Eric has encouraged me. I do like that Octo Dragon.
It's a cool phrase.
Would an Octo Dragon fly, Eric? That's the question. Or does it simply swim? Does it exist on land? We need to know Eric. I think Eric has the answer. And Eric also shared, as she dances, the fervor and passion forces her spirit from her body, and the dragon is sated.
That's awesome.
And RJD said, a castle always has a village nearby. This is true.
So true.
Becky said, this is getting dark, lol. And then Eric said, Octodragon is a swimmer.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
note taken. Great question from Brian. What is the substrate that May is painting on tonight? Is realism easier to achieve on a smoother surface, such as linens or panels?
I am working on upper sand panel, basically. So it's like panel and then it's gessoed and then sanded down. I don't know if like realism's easier to achieve. I just generally prefer working on like smooth substrates because like I don't have to worry about the texture as much, like of the paint like interacting with the substrate. It's just the texture of the paint, which I really like. But I'm sure there's ways of, achieving that on any surface to like get the desired effect. So just in my experience, it just like simplifies and makes the process more enjoyable for me. I know I said this would take like 5 minutes and it's not, so I'm sorry. But we're getting there. After all this stuff, it's just like black for her hair. Well, like my darkest color. It'll be fine.
Eric, what makes the Octodragon different from the Kraken? I just had to ask May.
Alex Hunt about to become a best-selling author.
What's that?
Alex Hunt about to become a best-selling author after this stream. The lore. The lore is unstoppable. What is this?
Eric said, so the Octodragon is essentially an inverse Hydra where the necks and heads are all dragon-like with a central rounded head at the top. It's close to an eldritch-themed creature. I don't know what an eldritch-themed creature. I guess I have to look this up.
They're cool.
They're cool?
Yeah. Very spooky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like got like an octopus head. Eldritch horror is what Orwell wrote about. Interesting. Eric said, if I drew it, and I will, it would make more sense. Oh, apparently I'm thinking Cthulhu. Ah. Let's see. This is harder than I thought, guys. Now I'm looking up Cthulhu. Oh yeah, looks like when I looked up Eldritch, I got Cthulhu. Okay, so let's go back to Eldritch again. There's a lot of different images for this thing, though. Octopus head with 8 dragon tentacle heads. Let me just process that for a second. Octopus head. Okay, so like, okay, with 8 oh, I see. Wow. Uh-huh. Interesting. I like that. So each tentacle has a drag, like at the end of the end of the tentacle, it's got a dragon head, and there's 8 of them. Now, do they breathe fire underwater? The dragon heads, or something? Do they do something, or are they just serpent-like and they just bite?
They just sit there and look cool.
Maybe they spit venom. Pepper said, is she going to have 4 different smartphones in her hands? Is this about the draconic social medias?
No. It's one thing it's not about.
The kind of paintbrushes that May is using are Simply Simmons. We tend to use them at the school here because there's a lot of them in quantity. They're not as high quality as the brushes that we send to our students in Evolve. And those are handmade brushes through Old Holland. These ones are a bit cheaper and kind of like workhorse brushes, and May is just very accustomed to them. Eric said, since it's a Hydra, let's go with Giarato, something quality powers. Oh, I see. So it shoots out a blast of water. Let's see. I'm seeing splash burn, stormy seas. Got it. Gay Rocker asked May, is that black mixed?
Yeah, it's actually not black. It's purple, blue, brown, dark gray, and dark red, crimson.
Just watch your shoulder there as you're painting. Thank you. It's interesting, the white on her chest.
Yeah.
It looks like it's light now, like as if it's like sunlight on it.
Should just leave it like that.
What's that?
I could just leave it like that. No, that'd be weird.
Trevor is now suspicious of you because you answered too quickly about the draconian social media.
That's like, it's not fantasy. So I'm like, no.
Eric said, I learned that black should be used sparingly. Most blacks in oil paintings seem to be mixtures of dark colors.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can see right now the approach that she's taken to this figure is much more in line with the speed painting. So it's kind of like these more mid-tone values and colors going together. Everything is relatively soft and it's more hazy, and she can refine it in a subsequent pass, which is really nice for us because then we can wrap up the live stream pretty soon, but also have the panel completely covered. Excuse me. So that the workload is much more straightforward in the next pass. And then Eric said, all right, last IRL reference. This reminds me of Dragon Rage Channeler from Magic the Gathering.
So that's a good thing.
Sounds like it. Dragon Rage Channeler. Yeah, that sounds right up the alley of this painting. Trevor, you're right. You're right. So I had simplified Trevor's remarks about you earlier, and he's protesting. So I gotta do Trevor a solid here. So earlier, after you had said no to the draconian measures, social media, he said she answered a little too quick, and then later said, methinks she dost protest too much. This is about the draconian influence of social media confirmed.
I don't know how to respond to that.
And then he said, How are you not going to read a Shakespeare-inspired comment verbatim, though?
So true.
He's got a point.
Man has a point.
Just not very confident in my Shakespeare, you know? And Rhett jumped in and said, I would call the painting Dance of the Dragons.
It's kind of nice.
That's like, here's another reference, Avatar, Last Airbender.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's always interesting to me to see the painting from different angles.
Like looking at it without my glasses. Where are my colors? Okay.
You're welcome, Trevor. I got you. Sarah Kelly just asked, how long have you been painting? I'm just getting started myself.
Me? Been painting for like 6 years. Serious for, well, like wanting to be good for 2.5. Serious for 1, almost. Yeah.
Well, Sarah, if you aren't familiar with Evolve yet, you should definitely consider it if you're getting started and you want a good foundation of skill in your paintings. May was taught from the founder of the Evolve program, as was I. A lot of people in here would recommend the Evolve program to you if you're interested in leveling up your skills and starting off on a good foot. You can check out the links in the description of the live stream. Got some awesome content there. Even if you don't want to join, there's still some very educational stuff that might benefit you getting started. There's actually there's a link called Oil Painting for Beginners if you want to check that out. It's actually just one of our YouTube videos, but it'll take you to the same spot. But there's other things like a masterclass on getting pro art skills and doing it efficiently and things like that.
Is there still more? Sorry. Details.
And Creative Life just asked, how long has May been training with Evolve? So, well, I guess 6 years would be kind of an answer there. So it's easier just to explain that there's a brick and mortar school that's been around for quite some time that Kevin, the founder of Evolve, has been running, and that's where May and I learned at this brick and mortar school. And I think about 5 years ago, Evolve started as the online version of that same curriculum. And basically, Kevin had been found by someone in Canada named Mitch Bowler, he runs Pencil Kings. And he was just amazed by the results that Kevin was getting with these high school students. And he was like, we've got to make this available to more people. And so they did through Evolve. And that's how all this started. So May she's not like technically a student of Evolve since she hasn't been doing it online. But she's been with Kevin for 6 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Grandmaster painting is, that's the second, just to clarify that. So that's just behind May there. That painting you see is the second one that was done. The first one was lost or stolen in shipping. And it is very, very close to being done. I imagine most people would see that and assume that it is complete, but not quite. But it'll be finished on and delivered on Thursday.
Yeah. Thursday.
And I'm going to zoom out just a little bit since May seems to have moved on.
Yeah, about a fan brush.
I think we're coming up on 10:20, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm just fan brushing and it'll be done.
Don't forget the Are you going to fill in those white
Oh
spots?
my god, yeah. I like looked over and thought that was like paint for a second. I was like, what? Oh, wow. Okay. I was like, where did that come from? Oh, okay. Yeah. I will do that like right now.
And again, now that we're zoomed out, you can see more clearly how some areas May has decided to directly paint, like the background, but then the figure up front has been speed painted, and that's like a layered approach that we teach in block 6 of Evolve. And so she's just combining different techniques, and this is the first pass on this painting. We'll be doing multiple passes on this painting, and we get to see its completion from start to finish. Trevor is asking, can you just randomly put up a photo of Kevin just for the heck and randomness of it? I don't have one on the software here, but I can provide a link to his life story, which is really cool and really inspiring. Like, even people who aren't interested in art, it's a really cool video. So I'll grab that for you. Glad to hear that, Sarah. Yes, Becky's right. He's also on the website, so you can find a link to our website in the description of the live stream. Make sure you put an Apple tracker on it. I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Okay. All good.
All good? Mm-hmm. All done?
Yep. Yeah. For tonight.
Cool. Oh, cool. Chandra said she has, I guess, paintings from that Kevin did in Magic the Gathering? Question mark. Becky was referring to an air tracker on the Grandmaster. Yeah, so Kevin's going to deliver that in person.
Yeah.
So nothing to worry about there. It was a, so even the previous one, Kevin had delivered the painting, and then they were shipping it, and there was an issue with that. Eric said, great start to this painting. This is going very well. Yes, it is. Gay Rocker said, now let's have a 20-minute retrospection.
No.
So, well, I will have a quick question for everybody. How are you feeling in an Old Holland color? Let us know. May, what color are you feeling now? You started off with that blue color in the top right corner. Where are you now?
Liking this dark red in the shadow right there. It's nice. I'm just like fan brushing again so that I'm making sure that I can see all my transfer lines in the dragon and in the figure going forward. So like I'd rather have it look a little bit like ugly now, but like be able to read into it and paint on it later. So. Besides, I'm going to be painting over like everything except for the background, hopefully. So it doesn't really matter what how like refined the pass underneath is.
Awesome.
I think that helps a lot.
Chandra said Kevin painted 2 Magic the Gathering cards early on, as well as at least 1 cover, and Chandra has the cards.
Sick.
Trevor says that he's feeling tealy. And Eric said, I've absorbed a lot of teaching tonight. Let's go with evergreen. Very nice. I've actually been looking at May's sweatshirt for quite some time.
Yeah.
So I would say that color.
Dark green.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool
It's a nice,
sweatshirt.
cozy color.
I like this sweatshirt a lot. The design on the back is super cool, I think.
May, did you want to show off something on your finger or something?
Oh, yeah. I got this ring recently, as in like 5 hours ago, and it's a dragon.
Wait, it's all, hold on, it's all blurry. You gonna do this?
Sure.
May was really excited about this. She was telling me about it. Here, just
It's the little things.
put it in front, and then I'll try to capture it here. Whoop. Cool. Very nice.
Thank you. See, I'm a simple person. Small things, small shiny things make me happy.
Little show and tell, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got some Davies Gray, Madder Lake. Yes, teal is a color. Awesome. Everyone's saying LOL, nice. Desired response. Cool. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Glad to have you all join us. We will be back again next week, hopefully, with some really cool photo shoot stuff for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, we'll be doing something else that'll be also really awesome. But hopefully we'll be able to get that. Oh, quick question. Hristo Borisov just asked, how do you get such accurate colors? How do you do it, man?
Experience. That is all.
Yeah, check out the
patience.
Evolve program. We help you with color mixing. And yeah, it's super awesome. We help people get to pro level art skills. That includes color mixing and proportional drawing, like painting from life, and making really awesome paintings like the one that you're seeing here. So links in the description, check all that out for some awesome content. But for now, we're going to bed, but we really appreciate you guys. This was a great time.
Thank you.
So take care.